The story begins inside the Grand Hall of the Galactic Empire, a shining room made of silver and glass. Thousands of alien leaders sit in high seats, their glowing eyes fixed on the center stage. Above them, a massive hologram shows their newest creation, a warship the size of a moon. They call it the Eternal Dawn. The hall shakes with cheers. The alien commanders stand tall, proud of their new power. They believe nothing in the galaxy can challenge them now. Finally, one general says with a grin, "The galaxy belongs to us. No more enemies. No more wars." Another alien laughs loudly. Not even the humans could have built something like this. They were strong once, but they destroyed themselves centuries ago. Primitive creatures. The hall fills with laughter, deep, echoing laughter that bounces off the walls. But not everyone laughs. At the edge of the room, an old admiral named Vorik sits quietly. His skin is pale blue and one of his eyes is covered with a metal plate, a scar from the last Great War. He doesn't smile. He doesn't clap. He remembers the humans. He remembers the war that almost ended his species. He remembers the screams on his ships when the humans fought to their last breath, even when they had already lost. Finally he speaks. His voice cuts through the noise. "Enjoy your victory, generals. But remember one thing, humans don't break. They wait." The laughter stops. For a moment the room is silent. The younger commanders exchange confused looks. Then one of them smirks. "Old stories, Admiral. Humans are gone. Dust and bones now." Vorik doesn't answer. He just looks at the hologram of the Eternal Dawn and whispers, "I hope you're right." Before anyone can speak again, a sudden alarm echoes through the Grand Hall. The hologram flickers. The bright image of the warship disappears, replaced by static, then a strange signal fills the air. The sound is soft at first, a low hum like a heartbeat. Then words appear on the screen, glowing in white letters. The coordinates are old, ancient. From a forgotten system at the edge of the galaxy. The name makes every alien freeze. Sol System. A planet once called Earth. The room falls completely silent. The High Commander of the Empire, a tall creature with 6 eyes and golden armor, leans forward. "What is this?" he demands. No one answers. Technicians rush to the console, scanning the signal. The readings are strange, an old human frequency, one that hasn't been used for hundreds of years. "Impossible," one of them whispers. "This frequency died with the humans." Suddenly the static clears. A faint voice speaks, cold, calm human. 3 words only. "We are awake." The hall fills with whispers. Every commander looks at the others in disbelief. "Is this a joke?" someone says. "Maybe a trap," another replies nervously. "Humans can't be alive. Their planet was burned." The old admiral stands slowly. His voice trembles but his eyes shine with something strange, not fear but memory. "I told you," Vorik says quietly. They wait. The High Commander slams his clawed hand on the table. "Enough of this nonsense. Send a scout fleet. I want confirmation. If humans are behind this, they will be erased, again." "Yes, Commander," the officers reply quickly. As they rush out, the old admiral stares at the screen one last time. The message repeats, softer now, like a whisper across time. "We are awake." Hours later, deep in the blackness of space, a small scout ship leaves the alien homeworld. It jumps through hyperspace toward the coordinates, the place where Earth once was. Inside the ship, young alien soldiers joke nervously. "Maybe we'll find bones," one says. "Maybe we'll find ghosts," another laughs. But the pilot says nothing. He keeps his eyes on the radar, watching the numbers tick down. When they reach the edge of the Sol System, everything goes dark. No stars. No signal. Just silence. Then, something moves in the darkness. A shape. A shadow. The radar flickers. Hundreds of unknown signals appear around them. Silent. Cold. Moving fast. The captain stands up, heart pounding. Who are they? Before anyone can respond, the ship's lights die. The last thing they hear is a human voice, echoing through the black. "Welcome back." Then the signal cuts off. Back in the Grand Hall, the High Commander receives the final transmission. Static. Then silence. No words. No survivors. The room feels colder now. One of the generals turns to the old admiral, fear in his eyes. "Admiral Vorik, what have we done?" Vorik doesn't look up. His voice is quiet but clear. "You woke them." The Empire did not sleep that night. The halls of command were filled with noise, shouting officers, glowing screens and nervous eyes. No one dared to say it aloud, but everyone felt the same thing. Fear. The first scout fleet had vanished. No message. No escape pods. No debris. Just gone. High Commander Threxen stood before the Galactic Council, his 6 golden eyes glowing with anger. "They are playing games with us," he roared. "No one defies the Empire and lives. Send more ships, twice as many." 1,000 alien voices filled the air with agreement. "Yes, Commander. Erase whatever is hiding there." But in the corner of the room, Admiral Vorik stayed silent. He looked at the stars outside the great window, cold, distant lights in the endless black. He remembered old reports from the First Human War. Humans never played games. They fought. They fought until nothing was left. 2 days later, the Second Fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. 60 warships, heavy cruisers, drones, fighters, the most powerful armada in this sector. Their captain, Zarin, sent a transmission to the command center. "Fleet entering the human system. No resistance detected. Proceeding with scan." The ships spread out like silver arrows, scanning the empty planets. Mars, lifeless. Venus, burning and dead. Jupiter's moons, cold and silent. Everything looked empty. Zarin laughed through the comms. "See? Nothing but old rocks and ghosts. The humans are gone." But his laughter stopped when his sensors beeped. Something strange, faint energy readings coming from Earth's orbit. "Commander, we have movement," the officer said. "Where?" Zarin asked, frowning. "Behind the moon." The screen flickered. For just a moment, a shadow appeared. Large. Still. Watching. Then it was gone. "Scan again," Zarin ordered. But before the scanners could complete, the stars around them began to move. At first they thought it was dust or debris. Then the radar came alive, hundreds of unknown signals closing fast. "Impossible," shouted one officer. "There's nothing on visual." Suddenly a light cut through the dark. A bright, sharp beam, silent and perfect, slicing through one of the alien cruisers. The ship exploded instantly. No warning. No sound. Just light. The fleet panicked. "Evasive maneuvers," Zarin yelled. "Find the attackers." But there was no direction to aim at. The human ships didn't appear as red targets on the radar. They were invisible, shadows in space. Every time one alien ship tried to lock on, it vanished in fire. Zarin could hear screams through the comms. "Unit 12 destroyed. Help us. They're everywhere. Something's inside the ship." Then the main screen flashed white. A message appeared. "We warned you. Return." Zarin froze. His claws trembled. He recognized the language, old Earth Standard. No one had used it for centuries. He tried to send a signal back, but the controls were dead. The engines stopped. One by one, the fleet's power systems shut down, as if something had taken control. In the silence, a calm voice spoke through every channel, deep and cold. "You should have stayed away." Then, in a blinding flash, the fleet vanished from every Empire radar. Back in the Galactic Hall, the silence was worse than before. Threxen paced the floor, his voice shaking. 2 fleets. 60 ships. All gone. He slammed his hand on the table. "Find them. Find anything." Technicians worked for hours. Finally, one shouted, "We have something." Fragments of metal appeared on the holo display. Broken pieces of their ships, recovered by deep space probes. On every piece, there was a single word burned into the surface. "Return." The council went quiet. No one moved. Admiral Vorik looked at the word for a long time. Then he spoke softly. "They warned us once. Now they're warning us again." "Do you think humans did this?" a young officer asked, his voice trembling. Vorik turned to him slowly. "Who else could?" "But they were destroyed," another shouted. "Our ancestors burned their world." Vorik's expression darkened. "Destroyed? You can destroy a planet. But not a species that refuses to die." The High Commander bared his teeth. "Enough of this talk. Humans are myths. Machines or rebels are behind this. Prepare the main fleet." Vorik sighed. "Commander, if it is truly them, we cannot win." Threxen laughed coldly. "You've grown old and weak, Admiral. The Empire fears no one. Especially not ghosts." But deep inside, even Threxen's voice trembled. He turned to the screen one last time, where the signal from Earth flickered weakly. Just before it died, the same 3 words appeared again. "We are awake." That night, the stars above the alien capital seemed dimmer. Every soldier whispered the same question. If the humans are back, what will they do next? And somewhere, far beyond the edge of the galaxy, in the cold shadow behind the moon, Silent machines turned their eyes toward the stars. They were watching. Waiting. Because humanity was not just back. They had been preparing. The galaxy had never been so quiet. After the second fleet vanished, no one spoke of humans anymore, at least not openly. But everyone whispered about them. In the training halls, soldiers told stories. In the markets, workers looked up at the stars with fear. And in the Grand Hall of the Empire, the High Commander planned his next move. The Empire could not afford to look weak. To lose one fleet was a mistake. To lose two meant fear. And fear was poison in the eyes of the galaxy. So, Commander Threxen gave the order. Prepare the Grand Armada. We end this myth once and for all. Hundreds of ships gathered, cruisers, carriers, and dreadnoughts. Each was armed with plasma cannons and gravity warheads powerful enough to destroy worlds. It was the largest fleet assembled in 100 years. And their destination was clear. Sol System. The home of the humans. In the shadows of the command deck, Admiral Vorik watched silently. His face was hard, but his eyes showed worry. He had warned them. Twice. But pride was stronger than reason. A young officer beside him asked quietly, "Sir, do you really believe it's the humans?" Vorik nodded slowly. "I don't believe." "I know." The officer frowned. "But how could they survive? We destroyed Earth." Vorik turned his gaze to the stars. "Humans have a way of surviving what should kill them. I fought them once. I saw them burn and still they fought. You can destroy their homes but not their will." When the Armada reached the edge of the Sol System, the stars seemed to fade. The ships entered a strange field of static. All scanners glitched. All signals went weak. "Report." Threxen barked. "Unknown interference, Commander," a technician said nervously. "Something is jamming our systems. Identify the source." But there was no source. It was as if the darkness itself was alive. Then, out of the black, something appeared. Not a planet. Not a ship. A wall, an invisible defense ring around the Sol System, hidden by cloaking fields. "By the stars," whispered one officer. "They built this." The human defense network lit up like fire, thousands of automated platforms silent and deadly. Each one locked onto the incoming fleet. "Raise shields." Threxen ordered. "Fire at will." Green plasma filled the void. But before the shots reached the defense grid, the beams vanished, absorbed by some kind of invisible shield. Then came the answer. The human network fired back. Blue light cut through space, cold, precise, perfect. The first alien ship exploded instantly. Then the second. Then 10 more. There was no noise in space, but the silence itself felt like a scream. Inside his command ship, Threxen gritted his teeth. Impossible. How can they have this power? Admiral Vorik finally spoke. Because they learned. They always learn. Threxen turned sharply. "Silence, old man. We are not done yet." He opened the comms to the fleet. "All ships advance. Push through their defenses. Show them what the Empire is made of." But as the fleet moved forward, something strange happened. The defense platforms stopped firing. Everything went still. For a moment it felt like victory. Then the radar lit up. Hundreds of new signals appeared, moving fast, coming from behind Earth. "New contacts." "They're ships," the sensor officer shouted. Human ships. They were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen, black and sharp, moving with machine precision. They didn't send messages. They didn't answer calls. They just attacked. Lasers tore through the alien armada. Ships exploded like fireworks in the dark. The human fleet moved in complete silence, every formation perfect, every strike deadly. "Who commands them?" Threxen whispered. Vorik's eyes narrowed. "No one. They command themselves." Within minutes, a third of the alien armada was gone. The rest tried to retreat, but their jump drives failed, jammed by human interference. Every system the humans touched became useless. On the bridge of his flagship, Threxen fell to his knees. "What are they?" Vorik looked at the burning sky. "They are what we made them. We forced them to evolve." Suddenly the comms crackled. A voice came through, human, calm, emotionless. "You wanted perfection. Now you'll see it." All screens turned white. Every ship lost power. Then one by one the alien vessels began to explode, like candles being blown out in the dark. The last thing the Empire fleet saw before everything went black was the emblem on a human ship's hull. A silver circle with an old Earth flag in the center, and beneath it, words written in a language long forgotten. "Humanity endures." Back on the alien homeworld, the Grand Hall watched the battle feed cut off. Static filled the screens. No survivors. No escape pods. Nothing but silence. The council sat frozen. High Commander Threxon's voice echoed through the hall, broken by fear. How can they be this strong? No one answered. Admiral Vorik finally spoke, his voice quiet but heavy. They called it war. We called it extinction. But for humans, it was only preparation. He looked up at the stars beyond the glass walls and whispered, "They are not fighting for victory. They are fighting for memory." The galaxy trembled. News of the destruction spread faster than light. An entire armada, gone in minutes. No survivors. No signals. Only silence. In the cities of the Empire, people whispered in fear. Mothers told their children not to look at the stars. Soldiers avoided speaking the word human. It was as if the name itself had power. But the Council refused to show fear. They called it propaganda. They told the galaxy that rebels had built the human ships, that it was not the return of Earth. But even as they lied, they sent more spies, more probes, more secret missions. One of those spies was Karen, a tall, silver-scaled alien from the Intelligence Corps. Her orders were clear. Go to the Sol System. Discover the truth. Find what remains of Earth. Karen's ship was small and fast. It carried no weapons, only stealth systems. She entered the Sol System through a dark corridor in space, using ancient routes once mapped by human traders long ago. As she passed through the void, she saw the remains of the alien fleet, twisted metal floating in silence. Hundreds of ships, broken, burnt, motionless. She whispered, "So it's true." Her scanners detected faint energy signals near the moon. At first she thought they were debris. But as she drew closer, she saw something that made her breath stop. They were ships. Human ships. But not like the old ones from history books. These were something new. Black, smooth, and almost alive, their surfaces shimmered like glass. They moved in perfect formation, silently orbiting the moon. No light came from their engines. No sound. Each ship had a name written in white letters on the hull: Vengeance. Honor. Survival. Liberty. Karen felt a cold wave of fear. "Impossible," she whispered. "How did they build this?" She sent a coded transmission back to the Empire. Report: human fleet confirmed. Technology: unknown. Possibly merged with AI. Proceeding to observe Earth. Her small ship moved closer to the blue planet. At first, Earth looked dead. The continents were dark. The cities gone. No visible life. But as she adjusted her sensors, new patterns appeared, faint but organized. Underground energy grids. Hidden structures under the oceans. Massive power readings beneath the planet's surface. Karen realized the truth. Earth wasn't dead. It was hiding. Then her radar blinked. A single object had appeared behind her ship. She froze. It was small, a drone, black and silent, with the same emblem she saw on the human ships. The old Earth flag. Karen whispered, "They found me?" The drone spoke with a calm human voice. "Unidentified craft, state your purpose." Her claws trembled. "This is a research vessel from the Galactic Empire. I mean no harm." Silence. Then the voice replied, "The Empire harmed enough." The drone scanned her ship. Every system went dark. Engines. Lights. Communication. Her heart pounded. "Please, I only came to understand." The drone interrupted. "Understanding comes too late." The stars around her blurred as the drone sent a pulse of light through her ship. Karen covered her eyes. When she opened them again, she was no longer in orbit. Her ship was drifting above Earth's atmosphere, powerless. Below her, through the clouds, she saw the impossible. Earth alive. Green forests stretched where deserts once were. Oceans glowed with strange blue light. And deep in the center of what was once North America, she saw movement, vast metallic cities that pulsed like hearts. "By the stars," she whispered. "They rebuilt." Then her sensors picked up something else. A signal not from the drone but from Earth itself. A human transmission. She listened carefully. It was a voice deep and calm. "You took our skies. You burned our world. But you never took our will." The transmission ended. Karen felt tears on her scaled face. She knew she had to escape, to warn her people. But as she tried to restart her engines, another message appeared on her screen. "Leaving so soon?" She froze. A shadow passed above her. A human warship, huge, silent, and close enough to block out the stars. Her ship was pulled by its gravity field. She screamed as alarms filled the cabin. The human ship scanned her again, then sent one final message. "You came looking for truth. Now carry it back." Suddenly her ship powered up on its own. The engines roared to life. And before she could react, it jumped to hyperspace, forced back toward the Empire's capital. When Karen's ship reappeared, the Council rushed to recover her. She stumbled out of the airlock, pale and shaking. Her eyes were wide with terror. "Report," Commander Threxon demanded. "What did you see?" She could barely speak. "Humans, not gone. Not weak. They rebuilt everything, and they are watching us." The hall went silent. Threxon frowned. "How strong are they?" Karen looked up slowly. "Stronger than before. Stronger than anyone. They became what we feared most, perfection in silence." Admiral Vorik closed his eyes. He had known this day would come. He whispered, "Then the real war is about to begin." The news spread like wildfire across the Empire. Humans were back. Not myths. Not ghosts. Real, and stronger than ever. But the Council refused to believe. They silenced Karen's report and called her story madness. They told the galaxy it was an illusion, an old war machine still active near Earth. But deep inside, every commander knew the truth. Fear had returned to the galaxy. Admiral Vorik stood on the balcony of the Imperial Citadel, watching the red clouds swirl above the capital. He could feel it, the same chill he had felt a century ago when the humans first rose. They were coming. And this time they would not ask for peace. 3 nights later the alarms began. The Empire's outer colonies went dark, one by one. No messages. No explosions. No distress calls. Just silence. Then came the images, stolen feeds from border stations. Blurry, distorted recordings showing black ships appearing out of nowhere. No warnings. No negotiations. Just light and destruction. Whole cities vanished in seconds. Orbital stations turned to dust. And every attack ended with a single transmission left behind. "You called us monsters. Now you meet your creation." The Council panicked. Hundreds of governors begged for protection. But the Empire's fleets were too far, too scattered. Every system that once helped destroy Earth was being targeted and erased. In the war room, Threxon slammed his claws against the table. "Cowards. They attack from shadows. Face us in open battle." Admiral Vorik stared at him. "You don't understand, Commander. This is their open battle. Humans don't waste movement. They strike with perfection." Threxon snarled. "They are machines, not warriors." Vorik shook his head. "They became both. You gave them reason to evolve beyond flesh." The room went silent. Everyone remembered what Karen had said, how Earth itself was alive, how human ships moved like thinking beings. No one dared to speak against Vorik now. A messenger entered, his voice shaking. "Sir, a new report. 3 more colonies lost. The fleet at Velian Prime, gone." Vorik turned slowly. "How many survivors?" The messenger looked down. "None, Admiral. But there was a message recovered." He handed Vorik a small data chip. The old Admiral inserted it into the hollow table. The room darkened. A human figure appeared, a man in a black uniform, face half covered by a glowing visor. His voice was calm, emotionless. "You took our home. We took your stars. Balance restored." The message ended. No one spoke for a long time. Far away in the outer rim, a single alien patrol ship floated through the remains of a destroyed colony. Burning metal. Empty silence. The pilot whispered, "Why are they doing this? What do they want?" Then a faint signal appeared on the radar, a human ship nearby. He sent a message. "Please, I surrender. We never fought you. We only want peace." For a moment there was silence. Then the human voice replied, soft but cold. "Peace was offered once. You answered with fire." The alien looked out the window as the human ship turned slowly toward him. It did not fire. It only opened a transmission channel, showing an image of Earth, shining blue and alive. "We rebuilt. You destroy. That is the difference between us." Then the connection ended. The human ship jumped away, leaving the alien trembling in silence. In the galactic hall, panic became chaos. Planets were demanding independence. Armies refused to fight. The name human had become a curse. Threxon tried to control them, shouting, "We will crush them. We are the Empire." But no one listened. Admiral Vorik finally stood. "Enough," he said. "Every time we said those words, 'We are the Empire,' we forgot what made us weak. Pride." He looked at Threxon. "You cannot fight humans with pride. You need understanding. But it's too late for that now." Threxon pointed a claw at him. "You speak like them. Have you lost your loyalty?" Vorik smiled sadly. No. I simply remember what they are capable of. At that same moment, far from the Empire, a new human fleet assembled near the ruins of the old colony world Erivos. Hundreds of ships, black and silent, formed a circle around a single, enormous flagship, the Infinity Dawn. Inside, human officers worked in calm silence. One of them looked at the holographic map of the galaxy. Red marks showed destroyed enemy systems. Phase 2 complete, he said. The Empire's borders are collapsing. The commander of the fleet turned. His face was half metal, half human. Begin Phase 3. The officer hesitated. Sir, what if they surrender? The commander's eyes glowed faintly blue. Then they will witness mercy. And if they fight? He turned back to the stars. Then they will witness perfection. The ship engines roared as the fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a burning system. Back in the Empire's capital, Admiral Vorik looked up at the night sky. Only a few stars remained visible. He whispered to himself, "They are not attacking for revenge. They are cleaning what they see as a mistake." He knew what would come next. Earth had been silent for centuries but not dead. Now humanity was returning, not as victims, not as survivors, but as something far beyond either. The galaxy thought it had seen war before. It hadn't. The real war was only beginning. The galaxy burned. World after world fell silent, their lights gone from the stars. The Eternal Dawn fleet, once the pride of the Galactic Empire, was now nothing more than scattered debris floating in cold space. Yet the humans did not celebrate. They did not shout victory. They simply moved forward, precise, calm, unstoppable. In the heart of the Empire, the last council gathered. Only a few leaders remained. Their faces showed fear that words could not hide. Admiral Vorik stood before them, looking tired but calm. "We have no fleet strong enough," he said softly. "They learned from us. They watched us. And they improved everything." The Emperor leaned forward, his eyes full of rage. "You would surrender to them? To that extinct race we mocked for centuries?" Vorik turned toward the window. Distant flashes from destroyed colonies still lit the night sky. "They were never extinct," he said. "Only waiting." Outside, millions of alien civilians fled their planets. Refugee ships filled the space lanes, escaping in every direction, but the humans didn't chase them. They avoided civilians, hitting only command centers, weapon stations, and power cores. It was not random. It was surgical. Perfection. One alien commander whispered in fear, "They fight like machines." Another replied, "No, they fight like gods." Then came the day of the final battle, the defense of the capital world Vorith Prime. Every surviving warship in the Empire was called there. Thousands of ships formed massive lines, walls of steel stretching across orbit. Among them stood the flagship Radiant Spear, commanded by Admiral Threxon. He looked at the endless black void before him and growled, "They think they can erase us. Let them come." His crew watched him nervously. No one had seen the human fleet and lived. But Threxon was proud. He wanted revenge. Hours passed in silence. Then the sensors screamed. Multiple signatures. Unknown formation. The calm officer shouted, "They're here." Out of the darkness came shapes. Hundreds, then thousands of ships. Black as night. No lights. No signals. They moved like a single being, silent, perfect, terrifying. The human fleet. Threxon's voice shook the bridge. All ships opened fire. The Empire's guns roared. Tens of thousands of beams filled the void, burning light cutting across the stars. But before they could hit, the human ships vanished, not jumped, just disappeared. Then they reappeared, inside the Empire's formation. At impossible angles. Firing with deadly precision. Alien ships exploded like paper under fire. Command centers melted in seconds. No one could understand how the humans moved so fast, or how they knew every weak spot. Admiral Vorik watched from the observation tower on the planet's surface. He had refused to flee. He wanted to see the truth with his own eyes. The battle above looked like a storm, black lines cutting through fire and wreckage. He whispered, "So this is what they became, the perfection of war." Beside him, a young officer asked, "Why don't they stop?" "We cannot win." Vorik closed his eyes. "Because this isn't a war to them. It's a message." High above, inside the human flagship Infinity Dawn, Commander Rise watched the chaos unfold. His face was calm, almost sad. A voice beside him said, "Sir, the enemy fleet is collapsing. Shall we finish them?" Rise shook his head. "No. Send this message to all remaining ships. The officer nodded and opened the comm line. A cold, steady voice echoed across every enemy frequency. You called yourselves rulers. You called us broken. But you forgot, destruction is what you taught us best. Now the lesson is complete. Then the human ships turned their weapons away and stopped firing. The aliens watched in disbelief as the black ships began to move back, slowly forming a massive circle around the burning planet. The pattern looked strange, beautiful, almost ceremonial. Then the human commander spoke again. We have no desire to rule. We only remove those who forgot mercy. A bright light formed in the center of the human formation, a massive pulse building energy. Threxon screamed from his dying bridge, "They are going to destroy the planet." But the light didn't hit the planet. It expanded outward, a silent wave washing across space. And when it passed, every weapon, every ship system, every communication channel in the Empire went dark. Dead silence. The humans had disabled the entire galaxy's war systems, without killing more than needed. On the surface, Admiral Vorik fell to his knees. He looked up at the stars and whispered, "They spared us." The Emperor stood behind him, trembling. "What are they? What have they become?" Vorik answered quietly, "They became what we feared most, the perfect balance of mercy and power." Hours later, the human fleet vanished into hyperspace. No message. No demand. Just a single transmission left on every surviving planet. Do not repeat our mistakes. Centuries later, the story of that day would become legend. Children across 1,000 worlds would whisper the name human, like a warning, or a prayer. The galaxy rebuilt itself in silence, always remembering the 3 words that started it all. We are awake. And somewhere, far beyond the known stars, a quiet blue planet shone again, peaceful, patient, watching the galaxy that once called it weak.